the shooting range. In this episode, pages of history, a new era infantry fighting vehicle, arsenal, best weapons for the F-111, and metal beasts, Thunderous Dragon. It's time to meet the dragons that gave their name to this year's autumn update. The first of them is the result of a joint effort between Chinese and Pakistani engineers, available as a squadron vehicle. Please welcome a 4th-gen fighter bomber, the JF-17 Thunder, also known in China as the FC-1 Xiaolong, meaning Fierce Dragon. At first glance, this plane looks neither small nor fragile, but in fact, it's pretty lightweight for its class. The aircraft inherited this trait from its old ancestor, the Soviet MiG-21. The machine is propelled by a single turbojet engine with a total afterburning power of almost 7,000 kilogram forces. The number doesn't look impressive, but an empty plane has a mass below 7 tons, so its thrust-to-weight ratio is good enough. What's not too good is its maximum speed near the ground. Accelerating past 1,400 kilometers an hour may lead to flutter, destroying the wing. So remember to check your speed from time to time and disable the afterburner when you get too fast. There's a plus side to this though. Flying with more caution saves fuel, so you don't really need to carry extra drop tanks. The JF-17 can carry up to 6 missiles for air superiority, 4 active radar homing AAMs for long range, and a couple of infrared, jamming-resistant missiles for close range. You can use them the same way as on other light fighters. Begin your attack with Fox 3 missiles at range, then approach the enemy and force a dogfight upon them. When you're out of suspended armament, you still have your good old 23mm autocannon. It has a high rate of fire that helps you land more hits at higher speeds, but the ammo pool won't last much more than 3 seconds of continuous fire. Now, we said earlier that the Thunder is a fighter bomber, and for a reason. Its arsenal also includes a vast number of close air support munitions. Classic conventional bombs and rockets don't bring anything impressive to the table, but there's also laser-guided munitions that are much more exciting. We believe that the optimal loadout includes 4 GBU-12 and 2 GBU-16 bombs. There's also the unique laser-guided Fire Snake missiles. They're really handy against enemy anti-aircraft defenses. And of course, there's the trendiest new weapon of this update, the satellite bombs. The Chinese LS-6 has a pretty large wing that gives a major buff to its flight range. Despite its modest mass, the Thunder is a handy, versatile aircraft with enormous potential. Infantry fighting vehicles were conceived during the motorization of army units, when militaries wanted to improve the mobility of their soldiers, give them more firepower and armor. The American Bradley, the Soviet BMP-1, the British Warrior, basically every nation that had a tank industry made its own specialized vehicles. Germany was also among them. In the late 1960s, they developed the Marder IFV, using experience gained in World War II, the Korean War, and other conflicts. The design of this new vehicle already included the future standards of the class. It had an engine placed in the front, a rapid-firing autocannon, and a crew compartment with a ramp door. Still, the Marder was like any other vehicle and couldn't serve forever. At first, Germany wanted to replace it with a similarly upgraded IFV, but the collapse of the Soviet Union gave them time and resources to complete a true breakthrough. The revolution of the military industry was made possible with a versatile platform that could be used for tanks, infantry fighting vehicles, and auxiliary machines alike. The project was so ambitious and expensive that it was almost dropped in the late 1990s. Only one budget vehicle managed to survive the cuts, the Panzer unter minimalem Aufwand, or simply the Puma. Its research and testing stages took longer than expected, so the first copies only saw light in 2009. The creators heavily emphasized the automatics and modularity of the machine. It was designed in such a way that its armor, and therefore mass, can be adapted for various missions. The lightest variant has a mass slightly above 30 tons and can even be transported by aircraft. The heaviest one, also known as Class C, weighs more than 40 tons and provides its crew with all-around protection against anti-tank grenade launchers, large-caliber machine guns, and 30mm autocannons. The Puma is also equipped with a multifunctional ATGM defense system, while its turret is designed to be unmanned. The crew controls it remotely. The German IFV is ready to fight in the hottest of battles, in any climate and at any time of day. Programmable shrapnel rounds allow it to fight helicopters, while third-gen ATGMs are effective against pretty much anything. The Puma is sometimes called a true miracle of military technology. It actually implemented all the latest achievements of scientific thought, but perfection turned out to be the Achilles heel of the entire project. In 2023, a single IFV could cost up to €17 million, which is comparable to some helicopters and planes. Starting as a budget machine that was part of a cut project, the Puma managed to become one of the most expensive combat vehicles in the world. That's one of the reasons Germany still employs the Marder and why Rheinmetall also developed the KF-31 Lynx IFV, a similar but much cheaper machine. The Aardvark family of tactical bombers has received some new models: the Australian F-111C and the American F-111F. What better time than now to talk about their suspended armament? Let's start with air battles and the earlier version of the aircraft. The F-111A can carry up to 8 missiles with infrared homing devices. By the way, 2 AAMs can be placed in the internal bay, like on 5th-gen fighters. Only this Aardvark's missiles are early models, the AIM-9B, and these can only hit targets that fly straight and use no flares. So when you're going into an air battle, you might want to pick autocannons instead. A single Vulcan can go into the internal compartment, and 4 more can be placed onto wing hardpoints as gun pods. You should keep in mind that they limit the wing sweep angle and the maximum speed of the plane. Later modifications have no extra gun pods, but their missiles are the AIM-9L, which are much more advanced. All members of the family can also carry drop tanks. These aircraft do consume a lot of fuel in afterburner mode, but their internal tanks are quite large too, so you won't need to use drop tanks often. They're great outside of combat though. You can make some spectacular screenshots with them. The close air support arsenal of the Aardvark family is much richer. The early version still holds the record for maximum payload in War Thunder. The 8 hardpoints plus the internal bay of the F-111A can hold more than 15 tons of bombs. There's a whole heap of calibers available, including 3,000 pounds. The maximum number of rockets is also impressive: 96 large caliber Zunis, or 456 Mighty Mouse ones. The late versions of the aircraft lost some of the hardpoints, so their unguided arsenals are notably smaller. On the plus side, the C and F modifications can carry the PaveTac targeting pod and employ laser-guided munitions. There are only 4 hardpoints though, so we recommend you pick the largest bombs, like the GBU-10. The American F-111F brings the most advanced weapons to the battlefield. Its arsenal includes TV-guided munitions with everyone's favorite fire and forget capability. We believe the most versatile set includes 6 AGM-65 Maverick missiles and 2 GBU-15 bombs. There's an alternative option with 4 bombs and no missiles. It takes fewer spawn points. Now, how do you feel about the Aardvark? And what loadouts do you like on the first version? Tell us in the comments while we answer some of your questions. The first question was sent by a player called Curiosidades Edicas. What is the best weapons combination for the Iranian F-14? Hey there! For air combat, we suggest you take the Fakur 90, the R-27R1, and the AIM-9P missiles. For close air support, go for the 2,000-pound bombs and the Yasser rockets. Jeremiah Chapter 29 asks, what's the best strategy for the TAM-2IP? Hi Jeremiah, the TAM2IP can be played the same way as other MBTs of its level. Of course, it can't boast thick armor, but other tanks have their vulnerabilities too. The light TAM can stay active with a bit of caution. It has no trouble taking strategic positions in the map center before its opponents and forcing its own style on them, but it also forgives no mistakes. Another question comes from Nebula. What's the fastest biplane? Hey there, Nebula. Technically, the Swedish Viggen can be called the fastest biplane, since it has a canard configuration. If we limit the scope of this question to classic biplanes only, the in-game record belongs to the Soviet I-153. Timothy, the T-3485, writes, what's the best loadout for the Mirage F1 series? Hi, Timothy. The Mirage F1 series has so many armament options that it's hard for us to give you a short answer. Why don't we make an arsenal section about them in one of our next episodes? Thanks for the idea. And the last comment for today was written by Danish War Thunder. What plane has the most different air-to-air missiles? Hello! Our game has a number of planes that can carry up to 6 different types of AAMs. Among them are a couple of F-14As, the F-15J-M, late MiG-23s, the MiG-29 SMT, and the Su-27 SM. That's it for today. You've been watching The Shooting Range by Gaijin Entertainment, and the next episode will premiere the following Sunday at 4 p.m. GMT or noon Eastern Time. Subscribe and click the bell if you don't want to miss our next videos. Don't forget to give your VARK the best park, leave a like, share your thoughts and comments, and see you next week.